Hello everyone, Dana 14th Prime here. I want to do a video share today with you guys on the Diamond Select Toys Darkseid comic book statue here. This is about a 10-inch tall, basically plastic fixed figure statue. Should be able to pick it up for somewhere between 60 to 80 bucks, just depending. If you're interested in this piece, check the links down in the description below. I'll provide a couple options for you to do a bit of shopping and look for the best price to pick this up. If you want to see the box and the unboxing of this figure, be sure to check out my Instagram, same handle, Dan 14th Prime. So a quick overview of this piece while he's up there spinning, and we'll go in closer on a couple aspects of the statue. Pretty simple, just sort of like scrap metal demolished base with some shaded and colored, translucent plastic kind of smoke effect coming off of the base there. You got Darkseid in a bit of a dynamic pose, leaning forward a bit, arms like he's ready to strike, and in this version here I've got the Omega Effect head sculpt. He does come with a swap out head. I'll show you that other one. And again, about 10 inches tall. A very, classic comic book look to him. I think decently sculpted in terms of size, symmetry, wrinkles in the outfit that shows some effect of creasing and movement. And then musculature, particularly kind of through the arms, the back, and the torso look pretty good. And the head sculpts are decent too, I'll show those. And paint overall, pretty basic. Basically the blue and the gray, right? But nice dark wash over the blue really accents some areas of shadowing, creasing, or even wear. And then the legs and arms, they're really using like a light gray and a dark gray to kind of wash those together to help accent the sculpt a bit as well. And I'd say paint lines overall relatively clean, except for a spot or two that I'll point out. But let's jump in closer and check out a couple specific areas of this statue. So first up here, let's just take a look at the base, and I will again emphasize the point. It's plastic, and you go underneath the base, you see the molded plastic coming through the bottom. And here, if we jump in close on the base, you can see, looks sort of like a crushed metal something. I mean, you can definitely see what looks to be a pattern across all of that rubble, almost like a kind of diamond pattern that you'd find in some industrial metals. You also see a bit of rust detailed in, particularly, kind of through here. Definitely where you see it a bit the most, but it's a bit in all of these kind of cracks and crevices. The base gives you a feel for the weight of Darkseid sitting on it, if you will, the weight. I mean, it's kind of like how the feet are crushed out and how the rubble fits around it. Just give you a bit of a straight-on view of that. Maybe they could have used some black in there to shade some of these areas as well. In some of the cracks, they wouldn't expect them to be just silver too. You'd expect some shadowing in black, and we don't really have that here. Here's a bit of the, the smoke effect. I think it's decent, actually. For what this piece is, for whatever I paid, 60 bucks shipped to my door. Again, link down in the description below. You get a couple pieces of, translucent plastic that have some shading from, dark gray to a light gray to almost completely translucent to just give that smoke effect. It's not too bad, actually. Definitely seen much worse than that on much more expensive statues. And there's the straight up back view. So that is the base. I'll just come up the figure a bit here. The boots here and just the lower half of the body, again, you see a lot of the nice creasing sculpted into the figure, through the boots and up here through where he's kind of getting his leg up a bit. You see the material kind of bunching up. And again, they're putting the nice black wash, I think, all the way around that. So it does look pretty cool, pretty decent. The thighs there, the skin, again, good muscle sculpt in there with the quads. A bit of that Darkseid, just skin texture is definitely there. And then they're using kind of two-tone gray just to help accent some of that. Potentially could have put a bit of darker wash in there too to help make that pop even more. But it's all right. Definitely, they make the pieces, the details noticeable with what they've done. And next up here, just upper half of the figure before we do the head separately. Probably a bit hard to see, but a bit of sloppiness here on the belt. There's some blue paint that is coming onto really just some areas of the tip tops of those whatever belt buckles or whatever they'd be. But I dig the build. It's a good, big, thick, muscular build. Not like of a super shredded detail, but works well for Darkseid, I think. In terms of how they mold up here through the material, it's nice. It looks like there's sort of a layer effect, like he's actually got clothing over his body. So they get a bit of a rise in there. Same thing down by the legs, which you'll notice as well. Get good creasing through there. I think good wash effect all through the chest. The arms, pretty decent sculpt, a lot of good anatomy there, deltoid, biceps, triceps, you see all that pretty well. And you definitely see more of that crackling through the skin and that just Darkseid sort of skin effect. And again, they're using the two-tone gray to accent that. Get him a bit straight on from the side there. And the gloves look really good too. I think the hands are well done. Bit of a head seam here. Again, it's a swap out. It's keyed in there. But I think they do a nice job with just putting it deep enough down onto the neck that it's not too bad. Plus you have the fact that Darkseid's kind of got like a helmet going on anyway. So it kind of works. If we come around to the back here, a lot of good work back here, I think, with, all of it coming together. Creases and material, musculature, really a lot of good wash back there that makes all that pop all through the back. And then the arms, again, the anatomy, I think a nice tricep put in there. And again, I think the skin and the arms and the legs, probably you could use a little bit of a darker wash to help just make some of that pop out a bit. But I will say, though, this piece under bright light, getting blasted with light for a review like this, the skin looks a bit lighter than it does in just sort of a normal lighting. There's a quick look at an angle there. So let's come up and check out the head then. So from here, I'm pretty much eye level camera to the head sculpt. Yeah, I think the face going into the helmet, it looks pretty clean, the lines and everything there. I think the teeth as well, clean paint, everything looks good. I think the teeth have some good color to them, some good sculpt. And I'd say face is generally sort of the darker gray. It's got all the crackling through it. It feels like it could use a bit of accenting to help that pop a bit. And again, this head sculpt's got the Omega beam flaring out of the eyes. Again, if you want to swap it out, it's keyed in there. I will say it's tight. You got to watch these beams for sure. Getting looser each time I do it, but you see the key, you see the inside there. And then this is the head sculpt that comes on the figure, which I think is good. They're both, I'd say, probably similar in just what they are. They just, rather than painting eyes, and this one they threw the Omega beam in there. So if we just drop that on there, give it a good push down, because again, it can kind of sit up like that. Drive that down on the neck. And you have this look, which is the red painted eyes, which I think is cool against the one that comes on the figure, I believe, and yeah, probably my favorite. So again, there he is, just stepping back a bit with that head on. And here, just another Darkseid comparable piece I have handy. This would be a DC action figure. I can't remember what they call that line, Multiverse, Essentials, or whatever. But he's in the new 52 get-up. He's a 12-inch action figure. He was packaged up with a 6-inch version of his daughter Grail, and that 2-pack ran, whatever, I think $100 retail. But if something like him interests you, you'd need to go out to eBay, and I'll link that down in the description below, because there's both new and used versions of him out there for sale. And costume preferences aside, he would probably be a better Darkseid to be picking up, though you might pay a bit more, just depending whether you're buying new, used, etc. So there you have it, guys. The Diamond Select, DC Comics, very classic Darkseid, 10-inch plastic statue. Runs about $60 to $80. Again, link down in the description below. I'll provide you a couple options on Amazon and eBay to do some price shopping if you're interested in picking them up. As always, any like, comment, or subscribing that you do supports the channel, so I appreciate that. If you're interested in reading a couple cool Darkseid stories, be sure to check out the Final Crisis saga or the Darkseid War. Both pretty cool DC reads, and I'll link those below as well. Alright guys, thanks for checking out this DC Darkseid Diamond Select video share out. I'll see you next time.